The master picked up a little demon from the mortal realm, and that very night, she was all over my bed. Hey there, handsome. Let's cultivate together. I freaked out and ran like hell. The master leaned against the pool, a knowing smile on her face. What's wrong? The girl not good enough for you. I blew up, stormed over and planted a kiss right on her lips. Bull, it's gotta be you or no one. That got me a beating with her slipper, while she yelled, you disrespectful brat. Don't fall for me. It's not gonna happen. I'm turning into a dude someday. Turning into a dude. Why not a fox lady? I lost it, ripped my sleeve off right in front of her. This handsome guy is here, begging to cultivate. Before I could strike a pose, she kicked me away. Get lost. Go cool off somewhere. I stomped over to the pond, demanding, what's your deal? She pulled back her foot from the water, her single green robe outlining every curve. Flipping her long black hair, she leaned back on a stone stool, crossed her legs, and gave me a sultry look. Oh, didn't you say cultivating would boost your power? Cat demon not cutting it? I could find you a fox lady tomorrow? I almost had a nosebleed, stomping my foot. No, no one. Not even me? There was something I couldn't read in her tone. Me. This was torture. Years of a total babe flaunting herself, stripping down to take baths. Who could handle it? I went nuts, darted forward, planted a big kiss on her cheek, and gazed at her all love-struck. Master, it's you or nobody. The master froze. After a beat, she grabbed her slipper and chased me, beating me senseless. You little punk, still disrespecting me. Did I not beat you enough last time? Using your charms on me. I should skin you and make a fur scarf. I ran around the yard, covering my head, wanting to cry. Why wouldn't she believe me? I wasn't using charms on her. Never had. I vowed to abolish fox charms someday. Late at night, I snuck a jar of aged wine from the master's cellar and got drunk alone under the moon. Handsome, why pine for one flower? Consider me, we could both get what we want. Wouldn't that be nice? The cat demon purred behind me. Humph, I'm not like you. I don't rely on that for training. I sneered, scooting away, afraid she'd sit in my lap. Tisk, tisk. The cat demon rolled her eyes, laced with sarcasm. You're in for heartbreak. Don't you know your master is a cold fish, and one that's both male and female? She probably. Red ice. I cut her off, annoyed. It's red ice. Not handsome. Fine red ice. The cat demon smiled knowingly, then gasped. You're red ice. Red ice of Windsleep Mountain Fox Clan. Yeah. You know me? I was confused. Know you? You supposedly drowned in the South Sea 100 years ago. Turns out you've been hiding on this deserted island. Fortune comes to those who seek. Ha ha ha. I'm rich. The cat demon stared at me, muttering and laughing, sounding creepy as hell. Then, she snatched my wine jar, cast a spell, and bolted. Damn it. Psycho. I yelled after her. Yelling aside, I still needed to drink. I grabbed another jar, chugged, then hurled it where she ran. That'll teach you to steal my booze. Maybe I drank too much because this wine was strong. My chest was burning, a wildfire rising. I fumbled through a set of punches, then looked at the moon over the South Sea, and saw too. I wobbled to my feet, my foxtail slipping out, fluffy and wagging. And I was seeing double. I thought I saw the master walking to me, gently patting my head, smiling softly. That smile was like the first time I saw her, beautiful like a dream. 100 years ago, I ran away from Windsleep Mountain to avoid a forced marriage. I got unlucky and ran into the Fox Clan's coming-of-age trial, a lightning tribulation. A bolt hit me and dropped me into the South Sea. Worse, a powerful force dragged me underwater. I'm a terrible swimmer and fought to stay afloat, thinking I was going to be fish food, when I fell into warm arms. The arms belonged to a goddess. She had eyes like the brightest stars, and a smile to steal souls. And her soft peaks didn't catch a big fish, but got a little fox. Her lips curved, her voice like a nightingale. Oh, are you hurt? It shouldn't be that bad. I barely touched you. She looked surprised. I had a nosebleed and embarrassingly choked on water. She reached out a slender finger to wipe my lip, then flicked her golden fishtail and swam me up. I was lost in her beauty. As soon as we surfaced, another lightning bolt struck. All I could think was, dying in the arms of a beauty wasn't a bad way for a fox to go. But then she raised a jade hand, stirred the water, and blocked the bolt. Boom! The lightning exploded into rain, fading away. It was so damn cool. Little fox, you're lucky I was here to help you. Train hard next time, or you'll get fried bald. She cast a spell to dry my fur, touching my head, and smiling. Such nice fur. It would be a shame to lose it. That's when I realized that SHE was the one using charms. From the first moment, I was obsessed with her. I followed her without thinking, owing her my life. For the first time, I regretted my lazy habits. I couldn't even maintain human form in front of a beauty. What are you doing following me? You can't even swim, she asked, confused. I can. I'll practice. I swore. I have a temper. Follow me again and I'll skin you and make a fur scarf, she growled. Take it. You saved my life. I clung to her leg, nuzzling, and shamelessly begged. Ugh. Fine, whatever. But if you're following me, you better train. I'm not saving you from another lightning bolt. She sighed. I nodded hard. She was always like that, tough on the outside, soft on the inside. Even after I regained my human form, I pretended to be a fox to trick her, and she got mad and threw me out. But when she saw me bruised and homeless, she softened and took me back. I lied, the bruises were fake. Who could blame me when she appeared like a goddess as I sat beaten by the South Sea? I got so excited I coughed up blood. She shook her head. How are you still so weak? Can't dodge, block, or fight back? Fine. Come back and train. I didn't tell her it was my parents who beat me. She made me swear I wouldn't use charms on her, or treat her like a woman, and not to call her by name. I suspected she threw me out the last time because I yelled her name on the South Sea. I asked, what do I call you then? Couldn't just call her Beauty. She scoffed. Master. She loved soaking in the water to cultivate and chow down on fish. So, in her deserted little courtyard, I dug a huge pond and built a tiny kitchen. She soaked, I cooked fish. Every time she said it tasted bad, but every time she scarfed it all down. Without realizing it, I'd been her lapdog, good disciple, for 100 years. My cooking got amazing, and her magic got stronger. Truth was, I'd confessed my feelings plenty of times. She either brushed it off as a joke, or pretended not to understand. Or she'd beat me up, accusing me of using charms on her, and ignore me for days. Until one time, drunk as a skunk, she hugged her wine jar and said, Don't fall for me. It's not gonna happen. I'm turning into a dude someday. That's when I knew she understood everything I said. But I'd already convinced myself that gender wasn't a deal breaker. I thought if she didn't reject me or kick me out, there was a tiny bit of her that liked me. But later, she really got mad, warning me if I said anything stupid again, I'd be kicked back to the Fox clan and never allowed to return. Looking at her dreamy sleeping face, I boldly reached out my fox tail and gently wrapped it around her waist. Master, I love you, like love at first sight, can't live without you, love. Could you think about me? A sharp pain shot through my tail, and I snapped awake. The scene swam into focus. Crap, I was screwed. This wasn't a dream. The master opened her eyes, her voice icy. Red ice, all these years, I've focused on one thing, you know what? But you crossed the line. Fish can be both male and female, and she had a choice. I learned that when I peeked at her cultivation notes as a kid. After she kicked me out last time, I snuck back to the Fox clan, trying to steal forbidden techniques. Sadly, I wasn't cut out for it. I couldn't train or turn into a woman. My parents almost beat me to death and dragged out the family laws. They asked me what was so good about that fish demon. What made me so obsessed? I yelled, She's pretty. Just pretty. Fox clan girls are pretty everywhere. My dad blew his top. I don't care. She's one of a kind to me. Just pretty. I covered my ears and acted like a brat. They threatened me, saying if I left Windsleep Mountain again, they'd pretend I drowned in the South Sea. Actually, I couldn't explain what I liked about her. She was fierce and unreasonable, but as long as I saw her, I'd do anything. Master, I won't get in your way. I tried to explain. You already have. The master cut me off, a hint of anger in her voice. I was speechless. I shook my head, using my fingers as a knife to slice my sleeve. As long as you're willing, we could still do this. After all, the Fox clan was pretty open-minded about stuff like that. There had been precedents. I thought I heard her sigh idiot under her breath. Then, She coldly turned around, ripped off my sleeve and said, "As you wish, let's cut ties. From now on, our master-disciple relationship is over." What? That's not how this was supposed to go. I reached out to grab the sleeve, but her remaining magic burned my hand, and my heart ached. She waved her hand, and the sleeve turned to ash. "Don't you understand? You cut the robe, I just went along with it. You can go back to the Fox clan." Her voice was ice cold. Ha! So unreasonable. Did she think I was just a wild fox she could call or dismiss at will? I gritted my teeth, and anger flared. "Fish, flower, sis, you can reject me. You can tell me you don't like me, you don't want to be with me. But can you stop using lame excuses to get rid of me? Please." "Ha! Blame me? Who told you to forget every rule of our agreement?" She turned, her angry eyes like knives. "You want a reason? Here it is. I don't like you. I don't want to. I don't need you. Now, can you get lost?" A woman scorned was deadly. She waved her arm, turning water into a sword, attacking me. I must have been an idiot standing there, not dodging, not blocking, not fighting back. I vaguely heard her sigh, muttering, "100 years, and still no progress. What a waste." I woke up outside the South Sea. This time, the master really didn't want me. Before I could even grieve, the cat demon Flowersoft jumped out, grabbing me, dragging me back to the Fox clan. Felt like she kicked me in my already broken heart. "Damn it! You're haunting me," I swore. "Oh, Red Ice, don't be like that. Just call me sis." Flowersoft smiled, batting her eyes. I wondered if she and the master were playing me. The master went to the mortal realm for wine every so often. This time, she brought back Flowersoft instead of booze. Flowersoft told me my parents were hurt and waiting for me to return to run the clan. She sounded sincere, but my parents were powerful and healthy. How could they be hurt? Was Windsleep Mountain in trouble? Were they fighting the Wolf clan? What about my cousin who married into the Wolf clan? "Oh, that," Flowersoft stuttered. "Shouldn't be? Anyway, you'll know when you get back." "Wait, why wait for me to run things? Where's my brother?" I caught the flaw in her story. Redfeather fell in love with a mortal 50 years ago, and to save her, he gave up half of his inner core, vowing to be with her forever. So maybe, I'm guessing your parents were angered by your brother. Didn't know my brother was so hardcore. Flowersoft was telling the Fox clan gossip while trying to drag me along, afraid I'd run. I didn't want to run anymore. If the master didn't want me, where could I go? But as soon as I stepped into Windsleep Mountain, I regretted it. My cheap dad was holding a box of gold and jewels, smiling at Flowersoft. He was getting a reward. My mom was holding a thick thorny whip, yelling, walking toward me. She didn't look hurt at all. If my brother hadn't stopped her, I wouldn't have gotten out of bed for years. And that cat demon just smiled, took the box, glanced at me and didn't apologize. She even batted her eyes at my brother. After getting yelled at in the discipline hall, my brother was done and went back to the 9 heavens. Falling in love with a mortal was just a test, and he became an immortal. He was an official god, and didn't care about our small fox clan. And my parents saw how great our oldest son was. They lost all their motivation, and just wanted to go on the honeymoon they missed centuries ago. So, they remembered me. I wanted to reject them, but White Bamboo, who was watching, snorted and said I wasn't worthy. As the only son of the elder, he'd be chief if I wasn't. Left the mountain for a century, obsessed with love, hid in the South Sea, simping for a fish, and got dumped. You've disgraced our Fox clan. How can a waste like him be chief? He had a point, but it still pissed me off. I clenched my fist, thinking about what I wanted to do, and I'd show the master I wasn't a waste. I'm going to be chief, I declared. Next thing I knew, I punched White Bamboo in the face. Waste! How dare you hit me? White Bamboo held his face, angry. I was weak and my brother was amazing. Everyone laughed at me. White Bamboo was the best young one besides my brother. Of course he was stronger than me. He wasn't happy, but it didn't matter. I'd beat him until he gave in. I grabbed his fist and laughed. Actually, the master had been pretty good to me these past 100 years. I cooked her fish, she bought me booze. The fish I made tasted terrible, but the booze she gave me was amazing. Every time I drank it, my chest felt like it was burning, the flames searing my body, slowly fixing my meridians. But after drinking, I had to jump into the South Sea and fight the sea monsters to digest the power. So my swimming improved and my magic wasn't totally stagnant. The master always called me a failure, but she didn't understand. I couldn't hurt someone I loved. I didn't look at white bamboo on the ground, leaping onto the charm fruit tree on the mountaintop. I'll ruin the Fox clan's charm magic, even if it kills me. I roared, as everyone watched in shock. I focused all my power in my hand and slammed it into the charm fruit tree. Despite the bone-deep backlash, I didn't stop. But the heavens played a joke on me. The sky turned dark. Lightning ripped the sky, striking me. The world went dark. My body felt torn apart. I laughed. Don't think I'm a pushover. I saw my parents channeling their magic, about to help me. I shook my head, yelling, I don't need anyone to save me this time. When the second lightning bolt struck, I leaped and caught it. You can't kill me. And when the last bolt came, I mimicked the master, summoning water, making a screen, guiding the lightning through me, striking the charm fruit tree. With a deafening blast, the tree started to wither. Heh, it hurt, but it wasn't that hard. When I was a kid, some bad guys in the Fox clan used charm magic to force others to cultivate with them. I ran into it and my brother saved me. My dad wanted to abolish charm magic, but the elders refused, so it fell through. Later, I got engaged to the second elder's daughter, but she loved someone else. The second elder told me on the wedding night, if I used charm magic, she'd love me. I thought it was wrong. Charm magic couldn't buy love. So I talked to the girl. She ran off and I escaped, until I met the master, who said I was disobedient, and used charm magic on her. I didn't. Then, I vowed one day, I'd chop down the charm fruit tree, so the master wouldn't misunderstand me. Today I did it. I stood, surrounded by the burning pain, and shouted, I'm taking the chief's position. Anyone disagree? Step up. The master said, don't be a pushover or everyone else will. The clan was scared and didn't challenge me. The three elders were pissed, but couldn't do anything. My parents smiled, giving me a thumbs up. Would the master smile too? I had the support of many, but some, like the white and gray families, were angry. My parents were worried I was too young to keep control, so they called back my aunt, a boss in the Wolf clan, to watch me. Then they left, ditching me to travel the world. Their love was deep, but not strong. The aunt just ate seeds and listened to gossip. She was useless. I didn't have any special skills, so I used the simplest method: beat anyone who didn't listen. I was red ice, I wasn't afraid. I vowed, once I took control of the Fox clan and got strong, I'd fly to the master and tell her I abolished charm magic and destroyed the charm fruit tree. I wasn't a waste anymore. Even if she slapped me again, I'd accept it. But I never thought something would happen to the master. In the middle of the night, Flowersoft burst in, telling me the master failed during a trial, and not only got hurt, she lost her magic. I lost it, and a terrible thought came. Hey, where do you think you're going? My aunt stopped me. I shamelessly lied. I'll get you a niece-in-law. I decided to force my love on the master. I tricked the master and locked her in the room. I looked at her pale face and smiled, trying to comfort her. It's okay. Our Fox clan's cultivation methods are very healing. They'll fix you. But I felt guilty. The master didn't hit me. She just asked, really? I haven't tried it. I stuttered. Want to try? She stared at me, freaking me out, and I chickened out. My aunt laughed at me for days. Before, when she hit and yelled, you went for it. Now she isn't hitting you, you back down? You're a masochist. Maybe. I sighed. I went back to cooking fish and didn't mention anything else. I'd been impulsive, dragging her back to the Fox clan. She didn't show it, but she must have been hurting.